Tribe, it's your girl Chosen Empress, and I'm back with another video. So for today, I'll be doing my new series, Dear Nurse, and episode 1, as the title says, is the Vagina Specialist with
Deveree Stewart Midwife
and
Audra.
So let's just get into it. So, Deveree, you want to start this conversation?
What is the vagina then?
Yeah.
What is the vagina? The vagina is a hollow tube. It's muscular and it's found on women, as we all know.
Okay. As a midwife,
Yes.
what are some of the issues that you find with the vagina?
First and foremost, for me, it's how do you view your vagina? The vagina is unique to every woman, and you have to appreciate what it means to you before you can have an opinion of the vagina. Because as a midwife, I have to see this woman holistically, and and base my care on her views of herself, so that she can be well in all aspects.
So I have a question. So
Yes.
I posted this flyer asking persons to ask me questions about the vagina, and no one responded. In fact, when I saw some persons, they were whispering, "Ask her this for me." Is this surprising?
No, it is not surprising, because the vagina is not something we talk about every day. Even as women, there is a problem to even speak to another woman about your vagina. And there's nothing wrong with the vagina. It's another part of the body. And as I always say to my students, it's just that it is placed in a unique part of the body. It's a reason why God did not put it on the forehead, in the palm of your hand, on your feet. You know, He placed it in a place to keep it protected, I say.
Protected from who or what?
Protected from the elements.
So in the church, why is vagina so taboo? Shouldn't we be training women to learn
Young
about
women.
themselves, even young men who aspire to be husbands?
Right. I would not say it as a taboo, but as I've mentioned before, it's how comfortable are you with your vagina. It's as a child, how was it referred to?
Usually negatively.
How people value it, the value you placed on it. Because we grow up hearing music being sung about the vagina in derogatory terms. We you know, the names issued to the vagina, it's all sorts. You can come up with a few, you hear them. And when someone refers to your body part like that, you're almost ashamed of it. And you shouldn't be, because I consider my vagina a sacred place. It's a place of sanctuary. It's my personal space. So, as I said before, it is uniquely placed in such a position for you to get there. What I have to do for you to get there, it's a lot. But as you can appreciate, some women are denied this opportunity of opening it for themselves, of giving it up for themselves, so that they look at it in a negative way. Why should I associate this vagina as something nice when someone has abused me? Someone think it's a piece of meat. Someone think it's something they could say anything about. So they look at it negatively from a young age, and our boys have come to see it as something negative to speak about.
True. What would you say to a woman who says, "But it's ugly"?
What is ugly? Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. A woman who says her vagina is ugly is because somebody really told her before it was ugly. None of us look in the mirror and go, "I'm so ugly." What are you comparing it with? For you to say it's ugly.
Alright,
What is ugly?
So question, are there
Yes.
different shapes
Size?
of vagina?
There are no different, I would not say shapes. Anatomically, it should have the same structures
Okay.
when it's not interrupted with, when there are no deformities to it.
Okay.
Right? So anatomically it remains the same. Yes, some may be a bit, what we call, has more fat tissue than others. Some has less fatty tissue, and that's what makes it different.
Okay.
So the shape of it is basically the same.
The shape of the vagina doesn't change.
It's just how much fat is on it.
It's the fat that is there that makes it different.
So when a man says, you have a fat vagina,
It's just fatty
It
seeing.
really is just
It's
fat.
fatty seeing.
it's really just fat. Okay.
Yes.
Talk to us about vaginal hygiene.
Yes.
How does a woman take care of a vagina? Does she
What-
wash it on the inside? Because I know women douche
Yeah.
and they actually soap, like when they're bathing, they soap it up inside.
No, douching is a no-no because it actually changes the normal balance, the pH we call it, the normal balance of the vagina. So we advocate to use water only on the vagina. You
Why
do
is
not
that?
Not even soap
water
when you bathe.
because you do not
regularly?
want to change the natural balance of the vagina.
On the outside or
On the
inside?
outside, water alone is good.
Oh.
You do not touch the inside. The vagina has a natural flora to it. It self cleans itself. So it needs nothing up there, it needs no steaming, no frying, no baking. It's in its natural state. So, but it's because, as I said from earlier, on in our young days, our parents wash it with soap and all sorts.
Yeah.
It changes our balance, changes our rhythm. And all you need there is water.
So how do we know when we have a balanced pH?
Yeah.
When you have a balanced pH,
Is there a scent that goes with
now
balance?
or a colour?
every woman has her natural scent,
Okay.
right? It's like we smell different, so does the vagina,
Ah.
right? There are no discharge. Naturally, the vagina has a whitish or a very, very light yellow, and that one is, especially seen in women after having children. But it doesn't itch. It's not thick. It's not flaky. It's not like what we call cottage cheese, like it's not sticky, it's not clumpy. It's just a light, normal flora, that is fine.
And before
It
children?
has no foul odor. No, that's what I'm saying, sort of whitish in
Or
color.
before children?
It can be, but I'm saying it can be a slight tinge of light yellow. It's not very,
Okay.
very light. And you have to really look at it. And that's normal.
So you mentioned about vaginal discharge.
Yes.
Is that normal, and does it change throughout the month, or it's supposed to be one consistent thing?
No, remember I said the normal vaginal discharge is whitish or it's very, very light yellow. And towards coming to your period, it may be a bit heavier, but as I said, it's odorless. It's not itchy, and it's not clumpy. It's not sticky, cottage cheese, what it looks like. It doesn't look like that.
So you brought up odor. Is there, what are the different odors, I'm guessing?
I did say to you that everybody has a natural smell. When I say odor, foul smelling, it should not smell like saltfish, salt mackerel, rotting meats. It just should not have any odor like that. It should be odorless. But again, as I mentioned before, every woman has their natural scent.
Is it okay for the vagina to smell kind of sweaty?
Yeah, you sweat. You have sweat glands there.
Okay, and that is normal.
And that is quite normal.
So is it alright? So do you clean it? So I'm talking about it like an it now.
It's not okay. Just complete vagina, be comfortable with it. Relax.
Okay, so in terms of, because they, that they have vaginal products,
Yes.
that they, wipes and stuff that you can use throughout the day. Would you suggest that we use that on a regular, or
For women who sweat a lot, if you pee, you can wipe with it, but it should not have any alcohol, no scent.
Okay.
Those are the preferred ones to use.
Okay.
But there should be nothing going into the vagina to clean it.
Okay.
As I said before, it self-cleans.
If it is that you have, or if you realize that something is different with your discharge, you should go to a GP or a gynecologist or whatever.
Okay. No, this is dependent if you're sexually active or not. As I said before, when you say something different, you need to be more specific. So is it different as smell?
Alright, so Vibes Cartel has this song.
Yes.
That it says if the panty are pink or something, it's an infection.
The panty pink.
If the
It could be
discharge,
the brand from Victoria's Secret, they've got a pink in it. sorry. That's funny.
No, so if
So the
there's
song
a colored discharge, what does
That's
each
what
color
okay.
mean?
It is dependent, as I said, as an infection, like if it has a greenish discharge, you may think, yes, it could be a particular infection, it could be yellowy. So anything from the norm, and you cannot just look at it and say, oh, this is gonorrhea, this is trichomonas, this is candida. You can, you have to send it to get tested because they come with other signs and symptoms. So it's best to go to the doctor, get tested, have them take a swab, send a sample off, and treat you appropriately.
So we're gonna kind of move into murky waters now.
Okay.
So with sex and sexual foreplay, for all the Christians that think that not having sex means that you can go around petting, and they do pet and they do finger.
What is pet?
Petting,
fondling. Fondling. Okay.
Yes, and fingering in
Okay.
terms of somebody inserting
A
their finger.
Okay.
Is that safe? Is that something to do?
As Christians,
Yes.
I would say no, because what you need to avoid is anything that leads you to sin. Right? Anything that causes you to take away from who you are as a person and from your beliefs, you don't do it. Because if you start doing those things, it's gonna bring your body to a point of arousal, and you'll have sex. So if you do not want to have penetrative sex, I would say avoid it. Right? Avoid being in places where this should happen. So for Christians who do not want to have sexual intercourse, I always tell them, meet in public places, shake hands, hello, how are you, back on the cheek, good night.
Yes.
Keep it public.
So what are
private.
some of the things that men who aspire to be husbands ought to know about the vagina?
Well, I always say all men, if they have not seen a vagina before, they need to look at it.
Oh.
And as a woman, you should also look at your vagina. You should know what it looks like. But unfortunately, some of our men know our vaginas better than us because some of us women do not look at it. Okay. So you have an appreciation for what the vagina is like, what it looks like, right? Because it allows you to know where to touch, to pleasure your lady. It also gives you a chance to see what it's like for the natural flora. So if something is going wrong, you can say, hey darling, I think it doesn't look right. Or even if you have a child and maybe get stitches there, you can have a look and go, no, I don't like the look of it, it's not the same. Because it does happen, right? Men need to also know that, know about menstruation. I think that is very important.
Yes.
And how the woman feels about her body at this time. Because some women would not even cuddle. And nothing is wrong to have a cuddle when you're menstruating. Okay. Yeah, it's okay to touch it. It won't bite. It hasn't got teeth. Yeah, it's soft and men know this. It's nice and soft. Right? So it is in a space that they like because of the warmth. It's soft. And it's nothing to be afraid of. Yeah, they can talk to it. It responds.
What do you think church groups should do to bring more awareness, to young ladies about their vaginas?
I don't think it should only be for young ladies in the church. We should meet with our young people on a regular basis just to speak about their bodies. Give them a chance to ask questions because then we are not telling them something then. They're part of a learning process. So it's things they'd like to talk about. What would you like to talk about? And you'll find that they'll say, oh, I don't know anything about breast. I know nothing about how the penis works.
Okay.
And because they hear these things at school, don't think they don't know. We think they don't know. But we cannot allow the world to tell them how it is. Because as Christians, our young people should be able to come to us and say, look, how does the vagina works? Why do we have babies through our vaginas? Why do the penis get erect? It happens. My son is 10 and he asked me. Mommy, where did I come from? Because he was looking at my tummy, waiting on a scar. And he was 6 at the time. And I said, from the vagina. And he was like, really? I said, yeah. And he goes, why? So I had to tell him the truth. This is where babies come from.
True.
It's only when something goes wrong with either mommy or baby,
Where you get the
or the women do not want to push, they come through a cut. But so that's what the vagina primary function is too. Not only for enjoyment, but for children to be better.
So in terms of pleasurable spots, every woman has the same number of pleasurable spots,
or is it unique?
Remember-
or is unique to?
It's not unique. As with the body, it's how it's touched, right? For some women, all parts of the vagina is sensitive. It's a matter of the muscle tone of the vagina and how well persons can manipulate that muscle tone. It comes with a skill, it's practice.
Okay.
How well you can use it while having intercourse.
Oh wow. So how do you practice?
It's like a dance. If you can dance well, you dance well, isn't it? So it's how you move your muscles of the vagina well.
So
Like
that's something that
clenching?
you're going to have to figure
you
out
can
on your
start
own.
practicing. It's like similar to the pelvic floor exercises where you squeeze and release, squeeze and release. After a while, it's a skill to do so well during intercourse. So it offers more pleasure.
That's squinting. That's
Whatever
squinting?
if you call it that.
Okay, so that means then pine and ginger doesn't tighten your vagina. Cake soap doesn't tighten your vagina.
Okay.
What else do they say?
That's walking, because I've heard
All
that
the
before.
products that they say tighten vagina. It's not the act of walking, it's the pelvic floor, but the products that they say tighten vagina, no. Yes, the cake soap, what it does is not tighten, but to dry the walls of the vagina.
Wow.
And it's like anything else. If you put something that dries the wall, it's gonna constrict, isn't it?
Yeah.
So after a while,
I get
thing,
it.
and it's not advocated because it will cause you to have tears during sexual intercourse because it's so dry. So if it's not moistened,
It would hurt.
there's a problem. So we do not advise you to use anything there to tighten. There are surgical procedures, but nothing beats pelvic floor exercises.
Okay, so I've been hearing about this vagina tightening, like a non-surgical procedure. Can you talk to us about that?
Which procedure is that? What did you hear?
Well, like a cream that you put inside.
As I said, any cream at all that you put inside that cause the muscles to constrict, after a while the cream will stop working. It's like taking a tablet for a headache. You take a tablet for a headache, the headache stops. Then what happens? It goes. So the best thing to do, because you'll have to use it for the rest of your life then. So the best thing to do is your pelvic floor exercises.
Hear that, ladies?
I have to advocate for that. Or surgery. Because you have some doctors who actually refashion the vagina. And that's what I call it, to bring it back to a virginal state.
Okay. Wow. That's a lot of information.
Yeah, lots of information. Is there anything else, any other tips that you want to share with us before we go?
No, if you have questions, please send them in. And I'm sure to address them then, because then we know that we're meeting the needs of the people out there.
Right, so I'll do a part 2. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment box below. Please don't be shy. Don't see me and ask me any questions. Please put them in the comment section. This was very interesting and very entertaining as well. I learned a lot about my vagina and I can say it and I'm proud. Audra, what about you?
My vagina rocks. But to be honest, it does take some time to get used to, especially if it is that you were grown in a conservative home and stuff like many, I guess, some Christian persons. So you just don't kind of walk around and say, oh, my vagina. So it does take some time to get used to, but I think after a while, it's something you grow to appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think being a midwife, I have come to learn to appreciate the vagina in all form. I understand the power of the vagina, what the vagina does, So it's actually, for me, it's an empowering part of me as a woman. And because of that, loving my vagina comes easily.
Wow. I hope to get to that stage.
Can I tell you?
So I'm going to leave her information below if you want to have a session with her. She's a midwife and a registered nurse. So I'm going to leave her information in the description so you can email or call her for any, I'm looking at her, for any consultation or any questions, or you can leave your questions below in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching today, and you do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.